This is what it's like to play Air Ride. This is what it's like to play City Trial.
Are they okay?
No, I'm not okay. I was this close to tying up the game. City Trial was a side mode for 2014's Super Smash Bros. For 3DS. Director Masahiro Sakurai's second attempt at the Battle Royale after nobody bought Smash Run in 2003. The masses were finally exposed to Sakurai's genius, and it only took 11 years and his resignation from HAL Laboratory. It's an exact fucking rehash, but City Trial massively improves upon the concept introduced in Smash Run. For the uninitiated, City Trial is like Fortnite Battle Royale. It was meant to be a side mode to the main game. Fortnite saved the world. But in a shocking turn of events, the side mode with massive depth and replayability was enjoyed more by players than the one-note original mode. In City Trial, you spend 5 minutes or so exploring a city, collecting stat upgrades, changing cars, and molesting your opponents to get a lead on them.
But, oh, is he gonna stun lock him? He has like...
He just spin, he's like, none of that.
At the end of City Trial, a random stadium event plays out, ranging from a drag race to a destruction derby, where the objective is to beat the fuck out of your friends the most. You know, come over here. What was that sound? City Trial is a cult classic, but the game was almost universally shunned on release, not just by critics but by the general public too. It begs the question, why? Why did so many people see no appeal to a battle royale in 2003? It's because they didn't have any friends to play with. What the fuck is wrong with this game? You can't entirely blame Sakurai though, not that I think anyone was. The man was ahead of his time. Maybe in an alternate universe where Air Ride came out on the Xbox with online capabilities, people would look back at it more fondly. Remember the good old days? We used to get on Xbox Live, play City Trial and scream slurs at each other. That was a shit. Now Sakurai doesn't stop pumping out Kid Icarus games because they sell so well. The man is so rich now, he spends all his free time holed up in his mansion, requesting skebs of Palutena pole dancing. And Veridi getting her type fucking holes filled. The most important component to City Trial is upgrading your stats, which are randomly scattered about the map as patches, each boosting a specific attribute. These patches are why City Trial feels so good to play. The fast progression you get from every match and the handling you have on your machine by the end of it is unmatched by anything else I've tried. The patches you can find are as follows: offense, defense, top speed, turn, glide, and HP, which are all self-explanatory. Plus there's charge, which decreases the charge time for a vehicle before you can boost. Boost, which increases how fast the machine accelerates after boosting. And weight, which increases the machine's weight and has ramifications on almost everything else your machine does. Here's a summary. I always thought the weight patch looked kinda like a suitcase. Actually, I pretty much exclusively see it that way. The devs must have thought so too, because there's an event where fake upgrade patches are disguised among the pool of real ones, and some goofy-ass music plays.
What is this goofy-ass music?
For example, the weight patch is a suitcase, and the glide patch contracts gonorrhea. Picking up a fake patch damages you and makes you lose some stats too. There's a fake version of every patch except for 2 of them, HP and the all patch. I neglected to mention this one. It's a very rare patch that increases all your stats by 1 when picked up. There's also a minuscule chance that 6 of them spawn at the same time.
Oh my pog.
No way!
Oh my pog!
That was the aptly named Secret Chamber at Castle Hall event, which spawns 6 copies of a random item in Castle Hall. There's usually just 6 healing items there, so it's one of the lamer events. I've named 2 events so far. A couple random events will play out in each match of City Trial. Exhibit A. The Greys might start invading in a UFO.
Oh.
What's this?
It's a UFO.
Are we gonna kill him?
This is not how it works.
Holy shit!
Guys, are you seeing that?
All boxes might contain the same items for a while. All boxes contain the same items. It's just, it's health.
It's rice?
There's rice in this game?
Japanese rice.
Oh, jelly donuts.
The lighthouse will turn on, which allows players to stop by and heal their machine for the duration of the event. The lighthouse is on.
The worst events in the game.
Yeah, that one's actually kind of trash. Don't break it.
I won't. We'll take your shit though.
Let me go. Let me go. Stop.
Hello.
I'm faster than you, man. What? You might have noticed the music in Air Ride is exceptionally high quality, which comes as a surprise at first. I mean, why would they give this spin-off game such an insane soundtrack? Then you realize a lot of it is pulled from the anime, Hoshi no Kabi. What the fuck? City Trial was supposed to be the epitome of Sakurai games, and he couldn't help himself but rip music directly from someplace else. I mean, I get that most gaijins will have never watched the anime, especially the Japanese version, because 4 kids showed up for localization and changed the entire soundtrack for the Western release. Each event has its own music too, by the way. You'll find that Sakurai hired a Hebrew band to produce the soundtrack to the anime, and it's not very noticeable for the majority of tracks, but the Item Bounce event especially stands out.
No, whatever you fucking name.
No, it's the Jewish music! Okay, I'm not the only one who thinks this. If you look up Jewish Kirby music on Google or YouTube, this song is the first result. It's even the first result on fucking Bing. It might be a different video, but it's the same song that plays.
Chag Sameach.
After doing some additional digging, I found out the Jewish music was actually DDD's Bustle in the anime, but the track was removed in the American release. In fact, DDD's Bustle is a sped up version of another removed song, titled Dictator? Oh, fuck. They're gonna make a page for Kirby on the ADL now. It sounds like some higher-ups at 4Kids warned Sakurai in broken Japanese that this song was not safe for Western consumption. Then he decided to repurpose it in Air Ride anyway. There are 15 different machines which randomly spawn and despawn throughout a city trial run, each with their own unique strengths and weaknesses. A portion of these machines also originally come from the anime, which made me jump in joy as a 9-year-old when I found out about it. That caught the attention of my mother, who beat my ass with a sandal for being on YouTube. Then she also banned me from making a Habbo Hotel account. But I also never got groomed online, and I don't know if that's because of my superior intellect or because I was restricted to Club Penguin. Compact is the default machine everyone starts with. Then there's Kirby's iconic Warp Star, Winged Star, the Testicle, Turbo Star, Bulk Star.
Yo, I said the Bulk Star.
The Bulk Star isn't actually that bad. In fact, it's the best machine for the Air Glider Stadium. Jump from the platform and fly as far as you can. You'd be forgiven for thinking this fat piece of shit couldn't fly very far, and really it shouldn't, but there's actually a glitch which allows the Bulk Star to fly infinitely, and I actually mean forever. Oh my god!
Oh no!
You're falling!
They both got bulk like air glider.
Where are you?
I'm hitting the roof.
Me too, I don't see you anywhere. Oh, there you are! So how do you know which machine you should pick for the stadium? During City Trial, there's usually a stadium prediction which corresponds to a specific event, but it's only correct 90% of the time. Honestly, if it were down to me, I'd lower it a little bit, maybe down to 80 or 75 for more suspense. But there isn't always a prediction, so I guess it evens out. There aren't too many different stadiums. 4 drag race boards, air glider, target flight, high jump, 2 Kirby Melee arenas, 5 destruction derby arenas, and a PvE mode where you team up with your rivals to beat King DDD.
Literally like scooted around.
Yeah, now I'm... Oh. You got him.
He died. We won.
We did it. Oh, it says
Well,
I'm
you didn't win.
retired.
I won. You didn't. But
On top of that, every single track from the game's Air Ride mode is represented, which makes the mode completely redundant, just like Fortnite. Kirby Melee, Destruction Derby, and Target Flight are pretty fun and allow counterplay with your opponents. Kirby Melee especially is the great equalizer. Even if you get absolutely fucked in City Trial, you can still win in Kirby Melee if you're good enough.
no.
Oh my god, I beat him in the drag race
won.
car. Stadiums such as Air Glider, High Jump, and Drag Race are usually decided the moment the stadium is chosen. I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing because your performance in City Trial should be the deciding factor when it comes to your placement at the stadium, and there are enough events which allow a player with a less optimal machine and stats to win. The beauty of City Trial is you could have the most godlike machine, but up until the stadium is revealed, it's really anyone's game. They see a dark valley with raging rapids, dude. You know what map that is. Destruction Derby?
What? You lied. Oh my god, I had the rare incorrect. You have
The-
like 15.
My
you have,
offense is like 15, yeah.
Oh my god, my girlfriend's 15.
What? You have to give a lot of credit to the sound effects too. It's the kind of thing in media that you don't notice when it's done well, but it's incredibly jarring when it's not. The Formula Star's engine slowly gets louder as you reach top speed. The static whirring when you fully charge the Swerve Star really gives weight to each turn. The Rex wheelie feels like a hulking monstrosity, and you can really feel the power when you release a testicle charge. The other sound effects can't be understated either. The menus are fluid and each selection feels tactile. Just like Smash, an audience will cheer when you perform a cool stunt, and depending on how you land, you get a distinct sound effect and animation, which is just enough punishment to encourage you to learn to steer your machine effectively. There's also classic Kirby sounds, of course. The sound of him hopping off a machine, running and hovering around are all long engineered sounds that make controlling Kirby feel great. And charging your machine even sounds like Kirby's inhale in the regular games. It's time to talk about charging. Yes, you can charge in this game. It's actually the main mechanic. You don't need to hold down any button to accelerate. In Air Ride, you move forward automatically. It's when you want to stop and charge where you hold the A button. The greatness of Air Ride comes from its simplicity. It's a battle royale with only 2 to 4 players, and the game uses just one button plus the analog stick. And this is where Sakurai fucked up. You see, ever since the original Kirby's Dream Land, Sakurai had the idea for a one-button game. It wasn't possible in the original Kirby, nor was it possible in any of the later games, because obviously distinct actions like jumping and swallowing shouldn't be tied to the same input. It's just common sense. But for Sakurai's final game as director at HAL Laboratory, he said fuck it! He was gonna have his one-button game no matter what. So now you have these stupid fucking copy abilities that take 10 seconds to charge by shaking the analog stick, or you can't change the direction you're facing the entire duration you're charging it, and before letting it fire, because the button to stop and change your direction is the exact same as using your ability. Surely this is some kind of joke, right? Somehow having a single button for each action not only doesn't work with the mechanics of the game, but ironically makes it more difficult to play. You could easily rectify this by adding a break button that only breaks you and doesn't use any of your other abilities. So of course, that's exactly what the modding community did. They added a break button. With the biggest glaring flaw in the game fixed, it's now perfect and actually competitively viable. City Trial has copy abilities, and you mainly get them from copy panels since there aren't any regular enemies in the city. There's 11 of them, and they're usually stowed away in red boxes or randomly lying around the city. You can attack other players with all but one ability, but Wing and Wheel are most useful for running away from opponents. Then there's Sleep. I don't like using this term, but it's a troll item. It solely exists to waste your time if you pick it up, and it works just like that in most other Kirby games. Unlike those games, copy abilities aren't permanent, but last for a small amount of time or uses. All the copy abilities are fine for fighting, but Plasma is by far the strongest, especially since the fully charged version is homing and can stretch the length of the entire map. Oh my god, there's a 4th spark! Ah! That shit chases you more than a Mexican mother with a wooden spoon. But copy abilities aren't the only form of offense. There are 4 offensive items that are scattered about the map or found in green boxes. These are gold spikes, fireworks, sensor bombs, and the panic spin. The discrepancy between these and copy abilities is a little weird to me, and I'm not sure why they weren't reworked into original ones, since even the anime introduced new copy abilities like Water, Iron, and Top years before any of them were introduced in the games. So while editing this video, I actually looked into this again because I was a little baffled by the fact that they made original abilities for the anime. And it turns out that those 3 abilities, plus Baton, were actually fan-submitted copy abilities that won a contest in Japan to be included in the anime, which was actually really cool of them to do. I couldn't find any information on the contest itself, at least not in English, but the names of the people who submitted the copy abilities are public. They are Takahiro Tonoe, Masanobu Maeda, Yuya Nishiuchi, and actually 2 people submitted ideas for Iron, Yoichi Muramoto and Yuki Oishi. Now, I wanted to reach out to some of these people to interview them as to what it was like to win. Like, did they get to actually meet Sakurai? What was he like? Was he always depressed and shit because he made Melee too competitive? I don't know though. Sakurai was probably busy bagging chicks on the side and doing blow off Hitomi Tanaka's fat tits. I actually found a few Instagram pages with matching names, but I don't really know how common names are in Japan. Like, I don't know if this is a Desertorium situation or James Smith or Muhammad Nguyen. I also can't understand Japanese, but I thought I could just go on DeepL to translate because it works well enough when I go on 2chan. These are all temporary just like copy abilities. Gold Spike lets you toss 3 gigantic Gordos.
You stop, like, you get off my dick. Get off my, and get annoyed!
Fireworks gives you an autocannon. Sensor bombs let you place hidden bombs which activate when someone gets nearby them. Oh. And Panic Spin is a high priority auto spin move that usually devastates opponents. What the fuck happened? You're not defenseless if you have nothing on you. Running into opponents at high speeds is sometimes the best way to deal damage depending on your build. There's always a pill-shaped hitbox in front of you when you're moving forward. Quickly shaking the control stick left and right causes you to spin, granting a split second of invincibility frames and a bigger hitbox. So there's red and green boxes, but what about the blue ones? Well, they actually have the aforementioned stat boosting patches, that's already been explained. But there's actually more to these boxes than just those items. Blue boxes can also contain gray patches, which decrease a corresponding stat by 1 point. And there's usually no benefit to doing that with any stat besides weight. Blue boxes can also contain food which slightly heals your machine's HP. Green boxes can contain quick fix patches, which temporarily affect your machine's properties, like increasing your damage or preventing you from charging. Every item mentioned can be found randomly in the city, not just in these boxes, but red boxes have something special which can only be found in them: legendary air ride machines. Every time you load up a city trial match, there's a chance that pieces of the Hydra or Dragoon will spawn in red boxes across the map. That's right, the Dragoon from Smash Bros. Another concept that Sakurai lazily stole and pasted into City Trial. Pieces of either machine will spawn in red boxes throughout the match. Not just any red boxes though. There are only specific areas where red boxes can spawn with pieces in them. My dipshit friend knows where all the locations are and I don't, so he gave me this really cool map to help, which I made a little nicer looking. Once you collect 3 pieces of a machine, it automatically assembles, and you get your name added to the sex offender registry. What?
Hey, what the fuck?
Who just died? I heard a fatality.
I'm
Yeah,
so
I'm fucking dead.
I feel bad though.
He's right behind me.
You fucked.
Help me.
It's me.
Can you stop?
You're such jokers.
I'm about to end the game.
Dude, go back. Go back.
Now you might think this looks bad for me. I just got fucking pumped and dumped. But the Hydra is a big guy, and it turns out it wasn't able to fly so good.
I don't get height.
Oh wait, I beat you? Wait, I beat him?
I fucked your ass and I still lost.
I won! Let me preface this by saying I'm not affiliated in any way with what I'm about to talk about. I just think it's a really cool thing that's being done. There's a whole community of people breathing life into Air Ride even 18 years after its release. The mod that I mentioned that lets you press B to brake, give alternate colors, and allow for team games are among just some of the improvements the hack pack adds to the game. It also simplifies the process of playing Air Ride online with other people over Dolphin. They even have tournaments with bigger prize pools than Nintendo's flagship esport title, Splatoon. If you want to join, there's a link to the Discord down in the description. What I wanted to accomplish with this video was to share Air Ride with other people who may not have heard of it before, or given it a chance due to public perception, and none of the other videos I've seen of the game on YouTube really did it justice either. What I'd like to see from either Nintendo in a sequel, or more realistically from the modding community, are 2 things. First is to play a best of 3 of different stadium events after City Trial, rather than just one. I don't know how this would work with predictions. Maybe you could have up to 3 different predictions that all have a 10% chance of being wrong, or you could have one prediction that's guaranteed to be the first stadium, while the other 2 are unknown. Or a mix of both. Either way, I think that smallish change can make each run of City Trial much more enjoyable. Second is to have a second map, which I know is a huge endeavor, because you'd need to program everything else in the map, like the location of events, legendary air ride pieces, etc. Which is why I said the modding community or Nintendo, in a sequel maybe. I was actually surprised we didn't get more than just the Forgotten Land for Kirby's 30th anniversary. I was almost certain we would get a spin-off too, and maybe it's still in the pipeline, and we'll see Air Ride 2 announced in the next few months. And if that time comes, then know that we did it, Reddit! We got him!
No, what you do, little running boy?